All right, welcome everybody. We are on episode 10 of season 3 of Aokailan. We due to a misclick, we already did the recap, so we're not gonna have a recap in this session. If you want to know what happened last session, I recommend go watch the session. It was great, and by great I mean terrible. Lots of bad things happened. But we're just going to get right into it right now. So the party is in Karstop Township. You have just fought off a huge Jakar-like creature, a whole herd of smaller Jakar that clearly were corrupted in some sense, and also some very frightened humans who had previously been waiting outside the Basilica of Saint Estolt, trying to get into Karstop, but who were being prevented from doing so by the Evangelist. The Evangelist, as you recall, is your target. That is who you are here to find. The courtyard is littered with the bodies of the both the wolves, the Jakar, and the humans that just died. No one but yourselves are yet living in the courtyard. Above you, the Basilica of Saint Estolt at the base of the high wall, the cliff face that flanks Karstop's southern or northern border, rises, looming over you. It is dark. It is early evening, and in the distance you can hear the howls of more Jakar. What would you all like to do?
Dorian,
Yes, on Hostos.
you have knowledge of the Hadron magic we witnessed here.
I've personally never seen anything like this at all. I would imagine if that thing was actually an Endara in hiding, that it's most likely got something to do with the corruption that's been going on. But I don't know for certain.
Perhaps it is best if we avoid the gate for now. Perhaps maybe Mikolaus or someone in the township will have more information on what happened. I fear the Najit have turned on the supplicants.
And I fear, knowing Mikolaus, that if something like this was going on in his home, that he wouldn't have stuck around for very long, knowing his personality.
Well, Alexander, shall we pursue your original goal?
I suppose it does seem to be the best course of action at the moment, then. I can take care of that.
DM, can we hear, is there still commotion going on, towards the Basilica?
You are in front of the Basilica right now, and there's no commotion.
There's no, all of the people are gone?
Yes,
Everyone's
everyone
dead.
here is either dead or has fled.
Oh my.
Better fled, alright.
Actually, if you want to go scout the township, or perhaps we can do this now. Anastas wants to take some time in front of the Basilica to kind of gauge what occurred. Are there Najit bodies? Was there a fight? Are they all slashed to pieces with swords? What?
So you witnessed what happened to most of the people that were here, and that's that they got ripped apart by Jakar, or they ran off because everyone was getting ripped apart by Jakar.
Yeah. Previously, we had come here. There was hundreds of people.
Yes.
And now there are
exploring the bodies, you find that some of them have weapon wounds. Some of them certainly have weapon wounds. Oh man, there are Najit bodies here as well, although they have been pushed off to the side and specifically crushed, the skulls being crushed. And Anastas, you would know that like once the skull is obliterated, like that's basically it. It's really hard to maintain yourself together if your head is gone.
Sure.
Although, can you make an int check for me?
You're gonna have to be more specific, unfortunately.
Cunning check.
Okay.
Sorry, flipping back and forth between systems.
Oh, wow.
Good start.
So you know that there is quite famously a headless Najit Pravoslav who rides a mount and brings the good word of the pilgrim to the far off lands.
Well, none of these are him.
Nope, sure
That's
are
a
not.
little tasty little tidbit.
Yeah.
Gates are closed. No guards in front of the gates.
There are no guards in front of the gates. No, you recall there being two of them here, and you don't see them. You don't see them among the bodies. I guess the Najit that you are seeing, you can tell are mostly order. There are a handful of soldiers of might amongst them. But yeah, mostly
there's a lot of order.
Orderlies. Yeah. These would be, your sort of town guardsy type people,
Sure.
but not. They're specifically not the sort of like temple guard that you had seen here earlier.
Interesting. Well, I suppose this mystery may be better solved. For
We could-
older and wiser. For the older and the wiser.
We could perhaps go and investigate that bar that we had gone to before, Alexander, and perhaps Michaelis' shop to see if there's
I would
perhaps
do
any
that
sign.
Personally, my recommendation is we do this in the reverse order. Let us send Alexander to inspect the shop and wait for him to return. We'll trail close behind.
I can do that quietly, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't like that smile.
Yeah. So you're exploring Mikolaus's shop?
We're gonna head that direction, yes.
Okay. So you head towards Mikolaus's shop. As you recall, this is a like a kind of sort of dirty open air ruin. When Alexander, you were last here, you had seen that things kind of were strewn about, but mostly left, as if Mikolaus left in a hurry. As you approach now, you see something altogether different. A huge, hulking shape is sitting in the middle of Mikolaus's shop.
Does that look like... Oh, what was it exactly? Does that look like the creature as like companion from...
Oh, no.
No.
So Mikolaus had a bodyguard, is that what you're referring
the
to?
the bodyguard. Yeah.
No, it does not look like the bodyguard.
Ah.
The bodyguard was undead. This is certainly not undead. This creature is living and is hulkingly huge, filling up almost the entirety of the shop just by itself. There's no roof to this ruin, and its shoulders like rise above the walls here. This is huge.
What is it doing?
Can we get any just a shape? Just a
Yeah, like right now
arms,
you're seeing
legs?
like shoulders, and it's dark. You can't really make out what exactly it is.
Can I?
sitting there menacingly?
It is sitting there menacingly. It is, now that you're taking a closer look, you can see that it is breathing and mumbling. You can hear the sounds of a voice. You can't make out what it is. Minerva starts growling.
Okay. Okay. Minerva. I kind of command Minerva to stay put, and I would like to sneak a little bit closer to see if I can get a better view/listen to it, if I can make it out.
You creep closer among the ruins, trying to get around to the side so that you can get a view of this thing's front. Right now, it's facing away from you. And let's get your stealth roll.
Yeah.
This is it's the speed check or whatever. Discreet. Thank you.
You got it. We got you, Pat. We'll get you back in.
Thanks.
Just a regular one, I take it.
Yes.
Bing bang boom.
Okay. So you're very quiet as you approach. You're sticking to the shadows, and suddenly and quite violently, the creature turns towards you. As its face comes into view, you immediately see the eyes, which are large and clouded over white. But the face is a friendly face, one that you know. Stone is in the building.
And bigger
He's
and
looking
larger
at
than
you, but it seems like he is looking through you, as if he can't see you at all. Don, what is Stone doing?
So Stone is sitting in the is sitting in the shop. So has everybody approached? Like, is it
I
just
imagine that
Alexander right now?
Or Anavstas and Dorian are like kind of watching what we can see Dorian like slink around this place, but I would like we're like 50 feet away.
Yeah, Alexander, so he gets like his face right up in mine, essentially, or
No, he
just
just
turned
like,
towards
so
me.
you're like 15 feet away right now. He's just like turned in your direction.
but he's bigger and his eyes are glazed over.
He's not bigger than he used to be. He's
Okay,
he's
okay.
just a big thing.
He's just a big boy.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that makes sense then too.
Yeah.
But his eyes are glazed over. Okay. Oh man, risky, but well, you know what? I'll kind of whisper call out. Or did I catch any of his what he was saying?
Not prior to getting to where you are.
Okay. Okay.
What is Stone now whispering?
What would he be whispering? I think that I need a question answered.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, that answered my question.
Okay.
What has happened here? And it is not Stone's voice.
Oh. Is it?
What has happened here? I do not remember. And he stands up and starts walking through the ruins, basically, and is like looking around and is specifically very interested in like what he can see of the walls and of like sort of like the Najit iconography. And as he's wandering and looking around and seeing these things, you see just pure, unadulterated hatred in his eyes. What has happened to my home? And he begins casting around and looking. Is everybody standing in the open?
Not as the Alexander's not. He's kind of been in the shadows.
How close
my
is
mental
everybody?
image is that of watching Alexander explore around this ruin, and me and Dorian, I'm like, what do you suppose he's seen?
I haven't the foggiest, but
He's
he hasn't been
clearly
gone
found-
for very long.
He's clearly found something.
Do you think we should move closer?
Stay behind me.
Right.
And Anastas and Dorian will, with trepidation, approach where we saw Alexander.
All right, so you move closer. At this point, Stone is like moving away from you.
Alexander is following maybe around the same distance he was initially.
Sure.
Still trying to be stealthily, because
Yeah.
he kind of like at a moment where he kind of like does signal to Dorian and Anastas to keep distance, but
Confused.
maybe kind
The
of
hand
confusion.
signals would
But
confuse me unless you say anything. Do I
No.
see? Can I see Stone?
Yeah. Yep. Stone's big enough, and like moving, like like he kind of rises above the ruins just a little bit.
Yeah.
And
An ally.
he's
Alexander,
not
what are you
quiet.
worried
He's pretty loud. But like also Alexander. No, Dorian. Dorian, as you are watching this, it occurs to you that this is not a place that stone should be visible, because the Najit do not want stone here. The humans are likely afraid of stone. If anyone sees stone, they will, and especially with the state of what's going on right now, like stone is probably going to get attacked.
Stone, what are you doing?
That's
Why aren't
Stone?
you?
You're
Oh.
calling out to Stone?
Yeah,
Yes.
Anastas joins in with Dorian. Once Anastas puts it together that it's you, I imagine Alexander's like, ah!
Oh!
Stone turns around, sees all, like, well, it doesn't see Alexander, I'm assuming, but sees Dorian and sees Anastas. And he just, you. I remember you.
Oh my god, Anastas, roll, you don't have to roll for this. It suddenly clicks in your mind. The voice that you are hearing right now is a voice that you have not heard in a long, long time. Since the fall of Karstop. You are hearing the voice of Chains on the High Wall.
Dorian.
And he charges you.
I
Okay,
ready my wheel.
all right.
It clicks off my back with a thud, and we prepare for battle.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So can you pull yourselves out just so we can like put you in initiative order? Does everyone want to be in initiative, or do we just want the two combatants here?
I mean, would it make sense for us to be in initiative even if we're not
You
fighting?
tell me what you want to do.
Oh, that's a great question.
Dorian will be in initiative, but be passing his first turn. He's definitely stunned.
Yeah.
I will hold my turn until after whoever goes second amongst the fighters.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably do the same. Put me in initiative order, I think.
Okay. Sounds good. So. All right, that's initiative order. As usual, Dorian is going first. Stone is charging Anastas right now. Anastas, you do act before Stone, however.
Everybody acts before Stone.
So Alexander passes. I imagine, I believe there's a defensive position maneuver.
Yes,
Which
there
gives me
certainly is.
An additional chance to succeed on defense checks.
Yep.
Anastas swings the wheel in front of him, in front of themselves, and is preparing to intercept Stone on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And next we have Alexander, and Dorian. You also said that you wanted to go after the first combatant to make some move, right?
After the second.
After the
combatant.
second. Okay, great. So you're waiting to see what happens here.
Same, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll go. Yeah, after.
All right. So then that is Stone.
Okay, Stone is just gonna slam into Anastas at full speed and basically just try to pump him with his fists, all the while just screaming incoherently.
Okay. So Stone, you're going to make an attack, I'm guessing, against.
Or do I make the
Anastas.
defense?
I think that I want it to be the active player is the one that rolls. So then we'll just modify it like we would. So Anastas's quick is 0.
14.
What?
Okay.
My quick is a 14.
Yeah, but your heavy armor makes your quick a 10.
Well,
Why is that?
that's for my defense check. So if he wants to succeed on hitting me, if you do this like enemies, my quick would modify his attack.
Right, but it's your.
And then if he
it's your like
succeeds in
armor.
hitting me,
It's
then I
your
make a
armor's
defense.
quick though. It's your armor's quick
Oh,
though.
okay, so it's
Yeah,
10.
so it's 10.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have fists, so I'm gonna roll Isho's Lament, but just for the attack check. If
I
that works for you.
I can give you unarmed combat if you want to.
It's up to you. I'm fine
Yeah.
either way. I'm guessing I probably won't hit either way.
Okay, sure. I mean, you're probably gonna hit. You're probably just not gonna do enough damage. Would be my
Right to actually
guess.
do anything. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I figure. So I do hit, but that's the issue lament damage, not the
All right.
fist damage.
So your
here, I'll
fist
roll-
damage is 1d4 plus 1d4.
Okay, so I'll just do that. Or here,
And
we'll just roll it like this. So 3 damage. Nothing.
okay, yeah, and so Anastas's defense is 6, just base. So yeah, so Stone rushes Anastas, barreling into him. But you also Stone was doing well. Rather, Anastas was dodging, but it doesn't matter because Stone didn't hit anyways, didn't deal any damage. I'm imagining like Anastas like grabs him or something. What are you
Yeah,
thinking?
can I make like a strong check to catch him?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
It would be strong versus strong. So what would
Yeah.
his modifier be?
-4.
Fail.
Oh yeah, okay. So
I won't get my hands on.
Oh yeah, so Stone is just like he's physically bigger than Anastas, and it has more arms, and this is just a little bit of a problem, for grappling. Okay, so now both have gone. Dorian and Alexander, what are you thinking?
Can I just like take a closer look at Stone? Is there anything physically showing, or maybe with Resolute I can kind of like reach out and feel what's wrong with him? I'm just kind of spitballing here.
I'm gonna let you as a player make your own assumptions about what is happening.
Okay.
Based on the things that I have said so far, and what Alexander can, or what Dorian can get from that. But this is outside of Dorian's realm of expertise.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just gonna try and persuade Stone. Stone, it's us. Relax. We're here to help.
Yeah, make a persuade. And this is going to be against Stone's Resolute, which is -6.
Oh, yeah, I'm fucked. Unless I crit. Nope.
What's your strength?
What's up?
Nothing.
So yeah, Alexander, sorry, Dorian. Oh my gosh, why 3 adventures in and still an issue? Dorian, you're unable. He does not seem to even recognize that you're speaking to him at this point. Alexander, what do you want to be doing?
Oh, well, against Resolute, that's gonna be a little tricky. I have some climbing gear, but I feel like Stone is just gonna rip through that.
Get a Monster Hunter Stone right now.
I know what I was
That'd be
hoping to do.
awesome.
But if it works, I don't want to replace my climbing gear, but I also wonder if that could work.
My question is why nobody brought the Hulk Buster, the Stone Buster suit.
The Stone
Well,
Buster.
we're about to.
Stone
in
is
an
our
arcade, you know.
Stonebuster.
Stone has one more chance to comply, or he's gonna get hit.
I think at this point, Puck, I'm gonna try to persuade him as well.
Okay.
I'll get out in the open, and call behind him, even if it just distracts him, I suppose. I'll call to him, kind of similar thing, and give it a shot. So how do I roll this then?
So this is
-6?
your persuasive -6.
All right. Very unlikely, but if it does,
What are you telling Stone?
I'm telling him, Don't snap out of it. It's your friends, Alexander, Dorian, Anastas. Even though I'm not convinced myself this will work, but I'm gonna give it a try to just like at least distract.
Give it a shot.
-6 normal, I assume.
Yep.
What is impending malice? Can I do that?
Impending malice.
This is on my screen. It's a checkbox, and I don't know what it is.
Do you feel like impending malice applies to this situation?
Maybe if it helps me. I'll just roll.
You are such a.
Yeah. So, same thing that happened with Alexander or Dorian. Stone just doesn't appear to be on this plane of existence right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we are back to the top of the initiative order. That does mean that Dorian is now first again.
Thinking on his feet, Dorian's gonna try a different tact and try a lie. He's going to say, you must be silent. The Hadra are taking over the city as we speak.
Ooh.
We need peace.
Ooh, okay. I think that you should have favor on that. I think that's a better argument here.
Do you want discreet or cunning for this?
Your choice.
Well, I'm gonna take cunning then. -6.
Yep.
With favor. Boom.
All right, Stone. What happens?
So, like, as you say that, he's gonna kind of like shake his head a little bit and say, "Take. It is our city. It was always ours. What are you talking about?" And he's gonna look around again, and he's gonna see. So, like, as he's like grappling with Anastas, he's gonna look at like his arm as he's just like kind of looking around, confused. And he's going to see the Hadran curse name inscribed on his arm. And he's going to just stop kind of in place, staring at that, and say, "Oh, no. I do remember this. We failed. I failed." And he's just going to kind of crumple to his knees in front of Anastas. And he's going to look up at him and say, "You finish what you started, you monster. Send me to hell. It is where I belong. Do it!"
As much as you may deserve the bite of my steel, I wish not to send my friend to an early grave.
Then you would deny me even this, you beast. You abomination. Very well. Know this, Bonekin, breaker of walls. I will wait for you. In whatever hereafter you may have waiting for you, I will find you there, and I will take you apart piece by piece for what you have done to me and my people.
You will
I
try.
will never forget.
Nor are you, great foe. There is no glory in dying twice.
Take this weakling back then, and find me when you are ready.
I long for the day.
And Stone's eyes sort of melt back into the normal kind of, state, and he just kind of What? Where am I?
You are safe. With your comrades.
What happened?
You were taken over. Your ancestors' blood runs strong.
I see. I went to the shrine of Ernan to attempt to gain their blessing, and all I remember is entering a trance and...
Suddenly, Stone, you remember exactly what happened. You went to the shrine. To remind everyone, encased in a tangle of vines and choking overgrown weeds that is the graveyard, dead and bone white, there was the corpse of a bony skeleton tree, one of the Golar trees. And as Stone, you sat there, you felt strangely like you were not alone. That just lurking out of sight were a dozen tiny eyes, and slowly you slipped further and further into that realm until you were surrounded by the spirits of the Hadra, come to pay their respects to their fallen friends and family. You saw Korovid, foundation of the Holy City's North Gate. You saw an Indaran, Fethrethriel, who studied humanity, who came to mourn his son, Anu, a Yoran beggar, and you heard all of their tales. And then you met Chains of the High Wall. You don't remember anything after that. However, you do now have Ernan's blessing, which allows you to re-roll one resolute check of your choice at any point in the future.
Sick. That's super useful.
Ooh, on that note, I must ask, and I know this is the third time I have asked, Krixna's blessing is precisely...
Krixna's blessing, it is the knowledge of self. It is the self-knowledge that came with the revelations, that it was a secret. It wasn't a blessing so much as it was granted knowledge.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, are you back with us?
Yes. I apologize for any harm I may have caused.
No. You were well handled.
Alexander, while you are looking at Stone and then Anastas, you realize that both of them have accepted blessings of the Aoka. And suddenly, since that happened, have been struggling with their sense of self. Dorian also accepted a blessing. So far, he is the only one that seems to be unaffected by it. But you are suddenly very nervous about taking any of these blessings into yourself.
Ooh, he's not big on magic to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't think we should stay here. It's not safe.
Especially for you, Stone, and...
Yes, of course. I shall make myself unseen.
Are you sure you can control that?
We had best hope so. I do not know what other choice we have.
Is there... I trusted you, but is there potentially another way that could stop it? It seems like we were just able to appeal to your reason, but it was not easy.
I do not know, Smallkin.
And
You
how are
must
you,
simply carry on.
and Anastas, how are you faring? After that fight, I just saw you. I saw you collapse for quite some time.
It is just after effects of the stress of the reforging process. I will be fine, and I will be prepared to deal with this one, should the need arise. But perhaps it might be best for Alexander and you, Dorian, to keep some space.
I agree.
Hmm.
I feel we
think
may be able
you-
to hold each other in check, but I do not know what harm might befall you.
And I know exactly what harm might befall you, friend. Perhaps it might be prudent for Alexander and Dorian to examine the tavern while we stay here and explore Nikolaus's domicile for any information, perhaps where he went. If we come back with nothing, I fear we must go to the basilica itself.
Be wary of the back door. It led to a small courtyard filled with those Jakar before.
That was quite some way, I believe.
Yeah, that was a separate storehouse. That was not the shop.
was-
Okay. Never
Um,
mind.
then I am
Also, that
confused.
Jakar that you saw back then was the same one you just fought.
Okay.
Pat, I'm gonna make my resolute check to go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Ooh, I failed it. Ooh.
Okay,
I think
so go ahead.
So I have a thought. I think that Stone attempts to like call upon his magic to pass unnoticed, and is so shaken by that experience that his power refuses to manifest itself. I fear I may have become a liability.
No more so than I, friend.
What do you guys want to do?
Well, there are significantly less wandering eyes down in the catacombs, or at least ones that would bring the entire Najit army down upon us for having you here.
Yes, as loath as I am to go into that place, I feel it may be safest for me to be out of sight.
That would perhaps be our re-entrance to the city regardless. We will be smuggling a
Indeed.
burgeoning.
Mikolaus did know about that entrance into the catacombs. It's a possibility he may have used that as a way to escape. And
Do we
That-
feel
He may
he
or
would
may
have,
not be a use to us regardless.
and would
His
he have
only-
sought re-entry to the city, or would he have fled out?
Well, I suppose that is an answer that we can find here. You said its place is kind of torn up.
Yeah, looks like he left in a hurry.
Anything valuable? Specifically looking for any more Twilight tincture.
or his diary telling us exactly where he went and when and why.
Perhaps a handful of maps.
Pointing to his direction, exactly.
Yes. For anyone who is looking for me, you can find me here. This is my forwarding address.
address. Yes.
Yep.
Ooh.
Looking through the supplies, it is clear that Mikolaus was selling scrap back to people for exorbitant prices. You find a map that has like points on like the roads in and out of the city marked. This could be like places that ambushes were set up or battles or something, but like many of them are circled and some of them are crossed off.
Interesting.
There,
I take the
Dead
map.
drops, perhaps.
what was that?
Dead drops, perhaps.
Perhaps. You do find amongst the potions and some things that he has there, one bottle of Twilight tincture. In addition to, give me a second. A few other bottles. They're gray. The glass is very cloudy. It's difficult to see in it, and some of them are quite thick. I know one of you is at least passingly familiar with alchemy. Does somebody want to take a look at these and try and figure out what they are?
Dorian, what do you make of these potions? I found one that might come of use.
Well, I never dabbled myself in alchemy, but I could give it a try, remembering some of my mother's lectures.
Please do.
What do you need from me, DM?
Cunning check. You have a favor on, or you have a thing for like knowing. You have
Yes,
deep arcane knowledge, right?
The forbidden knowledge.
Yeah. So if you want to give yourself favor on this check, that'd be great.
Okay, any modifier?
Yeah, this is tough. Let's give you a -2, but favor.
Okay. Nope. I'm sorry.
You
I've
open
never
one
seen
of the
anything
bottles, and immediately a incredibly strong odor comes out of it. These are the sort of like herbal cures that it's got like kind of like patchouli. Like, you know, when you walk into a place that's selling herbal cures and you're like, oh yeah, this smells like things that don't work. That's the smell that you're getting. Like your immediate thought is like, whatever this is, it is not doing what it is purported to be doing. Like, he's probably selling this as like a love potion or whatever. It might still have an effect. It might do something, but certainly not what he was selling it for.
The reason Dorian can't get a good look at it is because he immediately starts gagging when he opens it. Just I don't know.
It's like completely involuntary too. He's like trying really hard, but like cannot stop the gag reflex.
He's watering. He's got it like arm's length out. Just nope. Put that away.
Well, if not that for the tavern, then I fear we have but one route to secure the Evangelists.
Where are you guys gonna go?
Let's go check out the tavern then. See if there's any sign.
Anyone?
There were no notes or anything, but it almost seems as if Mikolaus knew that this was coming.
Or was just hastily in his preparation.
True.
I
can somebody just walk me through the logic here?
We're looking for someone to talk to figure out what the fuck happened.
Okay.
Or we're gonna go right to the Basilica and try to get in, I guess.
Okay, sure. All right. Huh. Okay. You approach the inn. I believe it was called the Waybridge Inn.
I coming along?
It is now.
Do you want to come along?
I don't know if it would be a really good idea for me to come along, to be
It's
honest.
dark and we're in
What I
trouble
was
one
what
way
I
or
was
another.
thinking was we could just throw some cloak or like some of the dusty shit from inside of the shop like over top of me and just pray that
you towered over the ruins, my good friend.
yeah, but I could just be a big ass Najit like you.
You do still have that
Slap
piss
one of
covered
those
blanket,
brooches on you and
don't
call it
you?
a day.
I don't think so.
Sorry.
The inn is called Raven's Hollow. At one time, it may have been an inviting inn. Even last time you were here, it was a gray and bleak place. But now it is completely dark. You can hear only the sounds of like there's somebody tinkering around in there. The sounds of like a spoon hitting a pot, something being stirred, the low cackling of a fire, though you don't see any light, and sounds of humming coming from an unearthly, ghostly voice.
Is the voice recognizable to Alexander and I at all, seeing as we've been here before?
It is. It does strike you that the proprietor of this place, Constance,
Oh, God.
still may be inside.
Oh, no. This is
Let's
less
go.
than useful. We should probably just go.
Even I remember Constance.
Is that your...
No, she's just rather difficult and strange. Alexander, you should probably take the lead on this one. I'm not very good with people.
If we think this is still the best track, I'll do what I can, but no promises.
I wish only to discover what befell this area. Something dire.
Let's hope that Constance is... Well, we'll see. I suppose I'll go in.
The Nastas will follow.
Yeah, that Dorian comes too.
The
Stone
tap
sure
room
as
is
shit ain't.
dark. There,
Stone's watching through a window.
there are two fly-ridden human bodies lying in the middle of the floor. In the back, you can hear Constance's voice. It is much sadder and darker than it had been. Stir, stir, stir. Pot, pot, pot. Stir the pot. Stir, stir the pot.
Innkeep.
She does not react.
Do we recognize the
Uh,
bodies at all?
Yeah, the bodies, are they stabbed?
Yes, both of the bodies have been stabbed.
Oh, so this place looks like there was a fight in here.
Yeah.
Constance?
Is there somebody there?
I don't approach, but I take a step forward. What happened here?
Constance's face is like, recall she had like a big powdered wig on and like very fancy clothes. And the wig is like frazzled and dirty, as are her clothes. She seems disheveled, and her bones are rattling as she stirs the pot. The pot is empty, and the fire has burned down to embers. There is only just like a burned on film at the bottom, as if she's just been boiling this thing for hours and hours until all of the water is evaporated. And the smell is awful.
I think we've learned enough.
Best not to bother her.
Is somebody there? She stops stirring and looks around.
Yeah, just gonna leave.
Okay.
Probably for the best.
Well, my only thoughts, my friends, through the door.
Okay.
I suppose.
I vote that we investigate the basilica.
What do you think we might find anything of use there?
We might find someone.
The mob was desperately trying to get in. There may be survivors in there. Ones that are more clear-headed than this poor creature.
I appreciate your optimism, dear Dorian, but I fear the supplicants were either killed or routed.
We won't know until we check.
All the more reason to pay the Evangelists.
You recall that the humans that you spoke to were not reasonable. That Dorian, you were the one who spoke to them?
Yes.
Hearing Constance now, thinking back to those that you saw, corruption took this town over. The people must have been succumbing to paranoia, like the humans that you saw. Constance has lost whatever shred of sanity she had left. These are all indicators of corruption. Can somebody give me a cunning check? Preferably somebody trained in history or arcana.
Yeah,
Magic.
that's probably me. Any modifiers?
No. Just do it straight. Let's see what happens.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm a bit frazzled.
Even the Jakar seemed corrupted. You're not sure what that means.
Don't think we're going to find any information here on second thought. You may have a point, Anastas. What do you propose we do then?
Well, this was the crude plan, but I would enter the Basilica and acquire the Evangelist. If he is not there, then we may have to appeal to higher powers to recover him. Thankfully, we've made an ally in the High Constable.
So you're heading out of the inn back towards the Basilica?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yes.
Dorian, as you walk out of the Basilica, you see a figure off to your right, stumbling through the street. Upon closer inspection, this is a tall, gangly figure, like an Indara. It is clearly wounded, clutching at its side, stumbling through the streets, and heading off out of town towards a dark copse of trees just on the outskirts of town.
I let the rest of the group know about it.
You suppose that was the one that we fought with?
It could be. They may have some information, some insider information as to what's going on here.
Might be worth a shot.
If it is in fact an Indara, I could translate for us.
It was quite dangerous, but
Basilica is not going anywhere. We could catch up with them, have a chat, and then come back.
a chat, you say?
We can at least try.
I'll put it out of its misery.
One
I'll
way or
follow
the other.
you, fearless leader.
That is what it comes to.
Better than logging a Hadra around the holy city, I suppose. Well,
The Indara has now disappeared into the wood. When you head over in that direction, Alexander, the first thing you notice is the trail of blood that is being left by this creature. You're not a tracker, but you've followed trails of blood before.
can you find it?
I believe so. It's very wounded. I don't know how much time we have, but I would say we should be quick. At least it is leaving a calling
Carry
card.
not.
All right, I need a vigilant check.
Ooh, not good for me, but
It's not good for anybody.
no,
Yeah.
we're not the most vigilant group. It's leaving a trail of blood. Can I get like favor or a
Are you
modifier
lower
on that?
9?
Yeah.
I have 10.
Not much of a
I-
Also-
scout.
It's also
Uh,
night in the woods.
That's
So-
what I was thinking. I was thinking
Yeah.
this is like an advantage-disadvantage situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely getting
also,
canceled out.
having tried to follow a trail of blood through the woods before, it is so fucking hard.
Very
Yeah.
difficult. Just roll it, Alexander. Just give it a shot.
No, just straight roll then, huh?
Wait a second. Doesn't someone have a thing specifically for helping find stuff? Like,
Don't
God, I
you
could
have a thing
swear.
that specifically makes people better at other stuff, Bard?
Ooh.
I do.
I
In
have a
fact,
map.
un moment.
Sing me a song, Stone.
Sing me a song. Which one is that? Does Tiberial? Epic of Tiberial doesn't affect any of the, or it doesn't affect Vigilant. And I
No.
don't think I have anything else that
You don't
does
have
it.
the
God, I
other
could-
one.
Not yet.
Yeah.
No, it's like the next one that I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
But I do not have it right now, unfortunately.
Well,
All right.
Godspeed.
Let's give it a try.
Are you fucking kidding?
All right.
All
The
right.
trail of blood leads off into a scraggly, overgrown wood near the banks of the River Kala, some ways outside of town. Dark branches loom overhead. The ground is wet and black, and the stench of a swamp fills the air. Mist clings around your ankles. Vines and overgrowth, moss, and creeping things cover every surface. Not 10 steps into the trees, and you feel you are somehow miles from civilization. The blood trail winds through the wood in a path so twisting, you feel you are just a moment away from losing it. Several times, you look as if you look up from the red path to find you somewhere totally unfamiliar, and were it not for the trail, you are certain you would become lost in these woods. It takes you some time, but you manage to follow the trail to a dark clearing. The moonlight overhead streams in through the crowded branches, and there, at the base of a tree, is a basin that is formed out of like twisting branches and vines. The tree is this massive oak that is oozing a like black substance that is like even like dripping off the side of it, and lying dead at the base of this tree, right in front of the basin, is that Indara. His clothes are all tattered and ripped, and he's wearing a cloak that is the skin of it, like a Jakar hide cloak.
Wonderful.
I'm gonna walk up to it.
Yeah.
Okay. As you get down to the creature, you see that it is just barely alive. Anastas, how did you kill the wolf?
Smashed it real hard in the face.
This thing's head is like caved in and crushed. There's like blood and brain fluid coming out of its nose. It is beyond your ability to heal, but it is still alive.
It yet
I'll,
lives.
Dorian will quickly come over and crouch down by it and say, "What brought you to this town? Why did you attack?"
The creature speaks in barely a whisper. I granted Banat's blessing. And with that, the creature dies.
Do we recognize that?
I, as the
Banat
player, know who
blessing?
Banat is.
I think that both Dorian and Stone know who Banat is, certainly.
I 100% know who Banat is.
I'm sure Dorian knows, but his player does not remember who Banat is.
Banat is one of the Aoka. This is the Aoka that is widely among the humans considered to be the creator of the curse. He is the Aoka of all of the plague bearers and corruption, and is master of the dark wilds.
The Indara have fallen to Banat, or at least this one had, and his curse.
Fallen to Banat. There are those who follow them yet still.
I would
Listen,
imagine he most likely did not act alone. And seeing as we have seen corrupted Indara before, I don't think it's that far of a stretch to assume that they had been following Banat as well.
Other than the Jakar cloak, Patrick,
Mhm.
is there any any other recognizable? How is it dressed?
Yeah. It is dressed in sort of pilgrim's clothes, like the clothes of a traveler. Like I said, they're all shredded up. Its face is beaten in, but now that you're looking closer, you can see that his mouth is covered in that dark black fluid, as are its hands. This creature used its final act to scoop the black, putrid substance from that altar and drink from it.
Do you mean the tree or altar? Or is it both?
The tree forms with its roots and vines like a basin that Stone recognizes as an altar. That basin is filled with this black goop.
Could this be a shrine?
Yes, I think so.
Could I consult the map that I swiped from Alexander's girlfriend?
Yeah, sure thing.
Which one?
The map
Such
that
a
shows
rage.
the shrines, obviously.
You do not
I
see
know,
any
that's the joke.
shrines down here, where outside the city. Then again, the map doesn't really cover outside of the city, and crucially, you do not see a shrine to Banat on here.
Well,
This may well be a shrine, but to Banat rather than any of the other Aoka.
is this shrine in particular required to? Must we?
We will
Receive
need
this
all
blessing?
of the blessings, yes.
I vote that we save this one for last, then.
It would be inconvenient for this one.
Why?
I imagine getting into the city may be difficult after. Well, if one amongst us would accept this blessing, as you put it, and be my
Stone sticks
guest.
his hand in the goop.
Oh no. Okay. Now what? Your hands are in goop. You can feel them tingle. The goop is oily and thick.
He pulls it
Cold.
out.
Stone, I would strongly suggest we wait until after we are finished with our errands within
makes
Karstop.
Absolutely no difference to me if I wander around in the guise of a Hadra in a Najid city or as any other beast. We will need this blessing.
And we can acquire it when we leave. If we need it. I would assume it would be much easier to travel around with you in some sort of corrupted state when we are not being
This being
already.
was not always in the guise of this beast that you describe. Who is to say that there is no modicum of control to be had over this blessing?
Yeah, that's the entire point. We have no idea.
And yet,
Our
Dorian, we
only
have
evidence lies dead before us after it had transformed into a giant Jakar and tried
there
to eat
are
us.
a couple of different things that I could point out as flaws in your logic, young man. Firstly, the place we are going after acquiring all of these blessings is in the city, one way or another.
And I would
Yes.
imagine that we would leave the city at some point, which this is clearly not in the city. We could hit it on the way out if we
We
needed
need
it.
to go into the city with
With
all
the
of
blessings.
the blessings to accomplish the task that we are currently undertaking, Dorian.
And if you remember, Dorian, our plan previously was to take Barula's blessing last, as it is in the middle of the city.
Indeed. I accept this risk. Anastas, I am sure, will take great delight in restraining me in whatever manner may need to be enacted. I see no reason to not accept this blessing now.
You have already been bestowed a blessing, and look at what it's done to you, Stone. I
Two
have taken
blessings,
one,
in fact. What is
and
the third?
and look at what it's done to you. I have received a blessing, and have had no consequence. Perhaps there is something there with a shrine's connection to a human.
Alexander, are you volunteering?
Or is Dorian volunteering, Alexander?
I am with Stone. I believe if we are to receive this blessing, it should be done here and now.
It makes no difference to me who among our party will accept it. I am ready and willing, but I am open to other options.
Our situation only worsens the longer we take.
Dorian scoops the goop.
Now you both have goop on your hands. And I'm gonna try and say this without swearing, but that shit fucking moves.
I have to pee real bad.
Go ahead.
That shit fucking moves.
Oh,
Well, the only other thing that I can offer is that of the four of us, two of us are perhaps less encumbered when it comes to corruption. Specifically Anastas. If we think that there is a corrupting element to this blessing, I do not necessarily think it should be one of you to take it.
It's also the Aoka of accepting the corruption, however. It's the Aoka of using the corruption rather than abhorring it.
Do you accept it or not?
I accept it.
Then take it into yourself.
Dorian takes in the corruption.
Oh, this was dumb.
It slides down your throat.
Oh.
It is putrid. It makes you gag. Once it hits your stomach, you feel like it's moving, like it's getting inside you. You feel like it's in your blood, and it gets pumped out to all of your extremities. You can feel it moving inside you like some sort of parasite. You take...
Oh, this was stupid.
You take 4 permanent corruption.
What the fuck?
Oh my god. Yeah, Alexander is never touching any of these.
And you now have the Blessing of Banat.
Rough.
So,
The Blessing of Banat means that you will no longer be targeted by corrupted creatures because they believe you are one of them.
Ooh.
that's actually pretty great.
That's pretty cool, actually.
I can
And
never,
you need
ever...
you need to create some sort of what do they call it? It's like a stigma or something.
Stigmata, yeah.
Stigmata. Some sort of physical change that happens to your body so that we can all see that you are corrupted.
That's only if you hit your threshold.
This was permanent, so...
But it's still only if you hit your threshold. But whenever you cast magic, for example, now, if you go up to or exceed your corruption threshold, you will gain stigma.
As this goes through Dorian, with each pump of his heart, his veins writhe and squirm like worms are moving beneath his skin. And behind his eyes, taking a note from Baldur's Gate here, it's almost like these strange black tendrils, like the tadpoles, squirm and swim behind his pupils.
So, fun point of fact, actually, every time you cast a spell, because you are currently at 6 permanent,
Yeah,
and you always gain 1.
I cannot cast
You will-
spells anymore.
No, you can. So the way that Stigma works, if we're going to go with the Symbarum rules for Stigma, is you hit your threshold, you gain a Stigma. Whenever your corruption, which is your combination of temporary and permanent, goes back below your threshold through any means, you then lose that Stigma.
But also when you go over your threshold, you gain more permanent corruption.
You gain more permanent corruption. That's the real problem.
Yeah, I can't cast spells anymore until I get that down.
It's okay. Remember, Stone is also in a similar boat. Stone is at 5 permanent corruption and his threshold is 8. So he is in a similar situation.
God, this is so interesting because it's like our 2 spellcasters are out of spell slots, but like without a way of like readily
Getting
fixing
new spell
that.
slots. Yeah.
Which is just, it's so much cooler than spell slots.
Yes, it's so much cooler than spell slots.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
you are still with us, Dorian.
The deed is done.
Was it worth it?
It was worth it to fulfill our quest.
The stories
I
will
hope
tell
so.
of Dorian brave. Well, we still have a target to acquire, and I do so wish to do so.
Does Dorian know about that secondary effect?
As the corruption is pumping through you, you feel something awaken within you. An understanding of what it means to be corrupted. This understanding is a realization that corruption is a natural order of life in Eokailan. That it is not... It is as natural as anything else. And that knowledge fills you with a sort of peace and comfort. You recall the corrupted creatures that you had seen in the past, and your view of them shifts just a little bit, seeing them not as abominations, but as, in a way, moved from one purpose to another purpose. And that purpose is to protect Eokailan. And I think that's what Dorian knows.
As if the land itself has something against humans being here. I can feel it. That is why this corruption wants us gone. It wants to save the planet.
The body seeks to rid contagion.
You will abstain from referring to us as contagion in the future, Stone.
I mean only what I see in the world around us, Anastas. You will recall that I, like Isho, find solace and love among the humans. So please, do not mistake my intentions.
I was just making mine clear.
You have done so many times, and I am sure will do so many times again, my friend.
Now is not the time for squabbling. Are you ready to travel?
As ready as I'm going to be. Let's go.
All right, and with that, you head off towards the Basilica. Excellent. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and I'll see you guys in a bit.
Sounds good.
Sick
Should
nasty.
have been Alexander, dude. Damn.
Should have been Alexander.
You guys
Yeah,
gotta remember,
would
he
have
has a
been
little-
great for Alexander, actually.
Yeah, it would have been
Really
awesome
would've
for
fucking
Alexander.
been. I was tempted, but
Yeah, but you're too chicken shit because Patrick got inside your head.
well, and he's also got a bit of a fear of magic to begin with, so
Well,
It's okay.
is what it is.
You'll get one that's just totally
Or-
awful for you.
just
I
avoid
think-
them for forever.
I think I have to stay away from shrines until we hit Barulo now.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
God, that would have been so much better on Alexander.
Would have been much better on
Yeah,
Alexander.
that's an oversight, but you know,
It's all right.
You couldn't have known.
couldn't have known.
Couldn't have known.
Still
Alright.
technically don't.
Still, technically don't. The Basilica of Saint Istolt is dark and quiet. Wind from outside presses against the building, which creaks and warps against it. The only other sound is that of a soft prayer from near the altar, beneath the beautiful marble statue of the arched form of the pilgrim. One Najit is prostrate below it in prayer. Another lies destroyed in a heap of bones nearby. What are you guys doing?
Did we make it? We just were able to enter?
Yep, you went
I was
to try
gonna
the
say-
door and it opened.
Stone might not even be there. I think we got to figure out if Stone is there or if Stone's in the catacombs. I'm fine either way.
You make the call, brother.
If we've been creeping around this whole time, like he could probably come with, right? He'll come.
Alexander's always creeping.
Creep.
So there's a destroyed Najit and one in altar, not the Evangelists.
Correct. And you recognize them as the temple guard that you had seen earlier. Like when you first came here.
From Might.
No. I thought they were Order.
They were Might.
They were
But-
Might. Well, that actually works because I described him as being Might. I thought they were
Right.
Order and I was having to change things, but if
Sure.
I didn't screw myself over, that's great.
Soldier of Might, please end thy prayer.
The knight finishes its prayer and rises. Nearby is a halberd that it grabs and it pulls up, which scrapes against the floor. It rises, its armor sort of clinking against each other. The knight is a well-made soldier of might in blood-red armor, stained with rust and with spikes protruding imposingly from its shoulders. It turns and it strides wordlessly over to you, halberd in hand. When the creature reaches Anastas, it drops to a knee, saying in a harsh voice, You hath reminded me of our divine purpose.
What transpired here?
I was given an order I could not follow. And so, I have turned against the blasphemers and opened the door to the people. But I was too late. For this sin, for this transgression, I seek redemption through you, until I am rendered unto dust.
What of the Evangelists?
The blasphemous one has fled into his tunnel.
Soldier of Might, what is your name?
I am called Red Hand Kierkegaard.
Red Hand
call me
Kierkegaard.
Kirk.
Rise.
The Najit rises.
You have done well in service of her light. And perhaps there's a bit of her wrath left in you. Join me. We are here searching for the blasphemer.
I am already yours.
Once more into the breach.
Does he look like if he rolled, he would do chip damage?
He does have spikes protruding from him. All right. Kirk,
I got it. There it is.
Kirk leads you through the chapel, and to the door of bone that leads into the pilgrim's path, and then walks past it, farther down into the basilica. He comes to a smaller altar that has votive candles that you would light in prayer to give a prayer for someone, and he grabs the thing and he pulls it out, revealing a passageway that a dark passageway leading into the catacombs, or in the direction of the catacombs, deeper in towards Karstop. Teacher, you must know, this path is guarded. I know not by what. It is how they have been carrying their living cargo into the city for their blasphemous work. I do not know what awaits you, but I will guard this side.
Thank you, Kirk. Know that your sacrifice is that of a holy one. And you have made an honorable choice this day. I promise you, we will return order. We will return grace to the city. Tell me one thing before we part ways, though. The Evangelist, was it he who ordered the slaughter of the supplicants?
The supplicants became enraged, rightly so.
They attacked the door. It was then he gave the order. There was something in their eyes. I could sense it. There was corruption. And then came the dogs.
We shall see this cleansed. Steadfast in your duty.
Bring justice to him, and I shall guard the gate, for it is my new purpose.
There will be no salvation for the one they call Evangelist.
What would you have me do, should other supplicants come, wishing to enter the city?
Let hell follow with them.
Understood. Now go, before he is out of your grasp.
All right. And Kirk goes back to the door where he will guard the entrance to the city. The tunnel is dark, hewn from stone. A smuggler's tunnel. There is no light in here, only that which you bring with you. What are you doing to light the way?
I can light my sensor.
Okay. Dim light spreads out from it. The tunnel is mostly bare. There is not a lot here, although it does seem to be part of the catacombs. It is of the same stone, and the tunnels are the same width. There are places where, like, tombs and things would go, but they are yet unfilled. How does this happen? What is your order, your marching order?
Anastas in front.
Alexander kinda behind, but mostly hidden.
Dorian's trailing in back.
You hear the creaking of bone echoing through the tunnel. Tunnel's now opened up. It's about 10 feet wide. There are nooks and crannies, as I said, but they are empty. There are, like, sconces for torches and candles. All of them are empty as well. And in the dark, something is moving. Bone against rock. But it's echoing all around. You can't figure out where it's coming from.
Be prepared to defend thyself. It is important that we acquire the Evangelist before he makes it to the end of this tunnel, or I fear we will end up in hostile territory. Wherever these supplicants are brought for sacrifice, I am sure they are no friend of ours.
Get this bastard.
And let us make haste.
Give me just a second. Trying to find the thing that I'm looking for, and I can't. There we go. Okay. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Interesting. My computer made the noise like something disconnected, but I don't
Yeah, I
know what it
heard
We all heard
was.
it.
That was weird. Your camera's still there too.
I thought someone dropped.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys don't have very good vigilant, do you?
Haha,
got
no.
10. Whoever
Very
would like
average,
to make
10.
the vigilant check can make the vigilant check. It is at -1.
I feel like I need to redeem myself.
Cool.
Oh, okay, never mind. Redemption averted.
Okay.
Redemption averted.
Mission-oriented Anastas.
Anastas, you stop in your path as you hear something directly above you. You look up to see on the ceiling 4 skull heads, 8 eyes total, 4 on each side, looking down at you. This head sort of like descends down. This creature is made out of bones, discarded like a Najit, but in the shape of a skeleton centipede spider creature, a horrible amalgam. This is not the sort of thing that was handcrafted by a master artisan of the Najit. No, this was put together in haste out of discarded parts of murdered people. Many of the bones are broken and together at wrong angles. This thing clatters as it comes down to you. Its whole form is sort of like twitching back and forth as if it has limited control over its movements. And when it sees you, all of its jaws open at once, and it lets out like a hissing growl. And it starts taking swipes at you, and we're going to have everybody go into initiative.
Yay,
Okay.
what would happen if we
Yay.
didn't succeed that vigilant?
It would drop down on top of you, and you guys would be having a bad day.
Surprise round. Yeah.
If that's what it does when we see it,
Okay.
critically.
If you just want to pull yourselves onto here so that I can activate you.
Get yourself together.
Painful creature.
Get it together.
I will send you back from the void as you crawled out.
Just waiting on an Alexander.
Should be out there.
I'm dumb. Thanks.
So stealthy, you can't even
Can't even see him. Okay, so I know that Anastas is in front. Kinda. What was your order beyond that?
Alexander was
Anastas,
second.
Alexander, Dorian in the back, and then would leave
Stone
Yeah,
for the middle.
Dorian.
Yep.
So kind of like this. Again, this is not a perfect representation here. This is just a rough understanding
We're
of
approximating.
yes.
Theater of the mind.
Theater of the mind. This area is so cramped, however, I am going to say that effectively we're in one zone unless somebody is going to like specifically run down the tunnel in one direction or another to try and make space. But right now we're all on top of one another. This thing chittering has dropped down. It is screaming, and in the distance you can hear the cackling of a Najit. All right, and as usual, first we have Dorian. Dorian, what would you like to be doing?
I would like to shoot this Mosk.
Yeah, absolutely. So this thing, it's a -1 to hit.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, I didn't
glancing
see the
blow.
damage.
Yeah.
Yes. So you take a shot at the creature, and like some of the bones like go flying off as you hit it, but they actually like reform back onto it, like pulling themselves back together. And it does not look any worse for the wearer. Okay.
Dorian would then like to use his movement to get one space back from
Yes.
this.
Okay.
Just get a little
Yeah,
separation.
make a little distance. Of course. All right. So next we have probably Anastas. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine like a Nastas like crouched down, the firebolt comes over their head, and I swing back up with the hammer.
Yeah. Okay. So -1.
Oh, sorry, but it's a total success.
Okay. All
Great.
right. For 8. Okay. Yeah. That does hit it. Breaking through. Like one of the heads gets crushed in by this. Like it is tossed off to the side. It gets back up. You would estimate that like even from like what just happened, you don't seem to have done like a huge amount of damage, but just a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Alexander.
Any chance I can get behind it?
Yes. Make a quick check for me.
Would that be a flanking move?
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
Boom, boom.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so you get around behind it, using the opportunity created from Anastas's strike. It kind of like moved off to the side, and you quick dashed behind it. What are you gonna do now?
I'm gonna try to stab it in any spot that looks stabbable, I guess.
Yeah, so this thing is entirely made out of bones. You are not certain
probably?
how stabbing it is going to work.
Oh, or
Eye
like
sockets.
hamstringing it, maybe?
Cut off the heads.
Yeah, can you
Heads-
attack bits
Head,
of it?
yeah. Okay. I would either say, can I go, I'd like to go for a head, probably, or at least a
Yeah,
neck.
sure. Yeah, go
Shoot
for the
for that.
heads. Great, love it.
So then advantage, backstab, modifiers, or no?
No modifiers. Oh, no, 1. Sorry, 1.
What?
-1.
Minus.
-1.
And no favor, but I get advantage and backstab. Try that.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Going.
12 damage!
That's
Okay.
a lot of. That's a lot of damage.
That's
Okay.
a lot of damage!
That's
Can
a
I get
lot
my
of
second?
damage.
Can I get my second one?
Yep.
Which is, God, I always forget it. It's advantage and backstab. My
You
second one.
only
or
get
is it-
backstab once.
Well, only get backstab once, but I still get advantage.
Cool your jets, hot
Boom.
shot.
On 7 damage.
Jesus, you're just 19 damage in one attack.
Yeah. Okay. So, 19 damage in
Get a
2
third.
attacks.
And I get a
Light
third
attack,
one.
attack,
You get a
sorry.
third one. Yeah, just go
In
for
one
it.
action.
God, I love it. It is literally what I was building him for. And let's make it another, baby, a triple.
Son of a bitch. Okay. So this thing turns around. You're not killing it. You are doing most of its health and damage. Describe what that looks like.
Well, I would say that it's, since I said I was going for, like, I guess head, I'm, like, basically come up behind it, gotten on its shoulder, and then just started basically smashing into it with my skull, with my knives, my daggers, driving him deep into, like, the skull and just, like, essentially just cracking it.
You are crushing skulls. They are breaking off. You're ripping them off. You're like one you throw to the ground and you crush it. This thing is like falling apart, like its ribs are like coming out. It's like on the ground and like trying to form itself back together, but is unable to do so. It is one, like we're talking like one left. The next hit is going to get this thing.
Yes.
However, it is going to counterattack against you. So make your defense check. No
Fair.
modifiers.
Defense, no mods, alright. Fair play. It's probably a little upset at me.
I'd be angry.
He's too fast.
Fast as fuck.
You
boy.
are too fast. It is snap. So like it. Like the jaws have been turned into like huge mandibles. It is like snapping at you, but you are backing up, perfectly timing your dodges to stay out of this thing's reach. Awesome. Okay, and last but not least, we have a stone.
It'll be least. I'm gonna miss, but I am gonna try to wump it.
Okay,
I'm gonna wump it with Isho's Lament.
sure.
I don't wump it with Isho's Lament.
I mean, you had a good shot.
I did have a good shot.
What is happening right now is that because Alexander is on the other side of it and is like drawing it towards him, you keep like running and doing the like.
I'm
the
also
great
trying
club,
to
but
I'm
it's
also
like
having
running
to try to
away.
hit. Yeah, and I'm also trying to hit over Anastas's head. This is not optimal.
Your dash attack is just like too slow for how it's moving.
The hitbox is just a little too short.
Yeah. And
No,
you're like,
man, it
God
just
damn it,
keeps hitting the
Alexander,
wall."
roll towards it, not away from it. Jeez.
Why don't you hit better then?
Okay, so, as this is happening, Alexander,
Yes.
you feel a gaze upon you, a dark gaze, like the evil eye, that is draining your ability to dodge.
I wonder.
You have a second chance to fail all of your success tests, regardless of the target, and the effect is ongoing until I
God.
say otherwise.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Bang, fuck you.
Next, Dorian.
Clear path for the shot.
All right, take another shot.
Okay. So again, -1. However, dice tell me what to do. Okay. Yep, make your shot.
All right.
Again,
5 damage.
your shot seems to be deflected by the thick bony plates that are covering this thing.
It's 5.
And it pulls
Oh.
itself back together.
Oh.
All right, next.
Well-
Anastas.
Anastas's mask splits in twain once again, igniting their black skull aflame, and I take an enraged shot against the monster.
Okay.
I can move to flank. I don't assume I don't have to roll the extra damage.
You
or-
sure do not. What does this look like?
Anastas, the mask splits, and I begin winding up the wheel on my hand, and it's like spinning on like a bearing. And then I totally unravel myself into the wheel, roll into the Spider Queen, and wrap it up in the armor and the wheel, and it just sprays everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I take off in a mad dash towards the Evangelist.
Okay. Awesome. So you are running towards the Evangelist. Alexander, what do you want to do?
I will also mad dash after him towards the Evangelist as fast as fuck.
Okay.
Yes, fuck boy.
So I have to zoom out. So Alexander and Anastas are running off in this direction. We basically have 3 zones now. We've got the far back one, the middle one with the creature and Stone, and then the forward one with Anastas and Alexander. Stone, as Alexander and Anastas run off, the bones begin skittering back across the floor, forming themselves back together, and the creature at full HP rises up in front of you, spurred on by some magic you cannot see.
Oh dear.
Stone, it is your turn. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yikes.
Alexander. It's Alexander's
I
turn.
was gonna say it's not my turn.
So, Alexander, you ran off towards the evangelist. You cannot see him. With Anastas running forward as well, there is some dim light in here. You can hear his cackling, which has grown even louder now. And when you turn back around, you can see that the creature is rearing up towards Stone. What would you like? So you used your movement to get here. What would you like to do with your action?
Fuck. I don't think I have. The problem is I don't have anything to like hit it with at this distance. No, I have a crossbow. I do have a crossbow. I just don't have it equipped right now. I don't know. I can't see the evangelist, but I hear him ahead.
You
or
can
all
hear
around.
it. It's echoing all around you, though. You're not sure where exactly the evangelist is.
Fuck. I'm gonna call out to this this spider queen, the skeletal being.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Hey, you bastard! I'm the one who basically took you out. Come and see if you can take more to try and get it distracted from Stone.
Sure. Yeah, the creature like turns its head towards you, and does start like sort of like getting back to you. It's taking its full turn to kind of pull itself back together. But yeah, you think that it's heading in your direction now.
Okay, cool.
All right. Stone, now it's your turn.
All right. Well, I don't think that there's any reason to do anything other than try to wump it. As I'm gonna try to wump it, though, I'm gonna call out to Alexander and Anastas and just say, "We have a problem."
All right.
And then I'm gonna try to wump it.
-1.
Yep.
Boring conversation anyway.
Boring conversation anyway. Damn it. Nothing. Stone
No
is
wumping.
just no wumping. I should have gone defensive instead. Oh well.
All right. Back to the top, Dorian.
Find that fucking mage, and I'll load up and shoot again.
All right. -1.
Hella kablam!
Ella kablam! Yes!
There
That's
we
what we
go.
want.
Hell yeah.
Huge shot. This thing, like, half of its body goes spraying. Like, bones are hitting the floor in clatters. Big hit. Takes 6 damage. Awesome. Okay.
Finally.
Anastas.
Anastas, continuing scrambling down the hallway, still enraged, head aflame. Any room or any can I see any means by which this tunnel may end, or where?
Okay. So you come to there's an large stone pillars, a bunch of statues. You don't take a huge close look at them, but there is a door that leads off to the side. Old, like, runic inscriptions all over it. But around the sides of it are, like, narrow tunnels that sort of, like, wrap around this, I guess I would call it like a building, like a mausoleum. In here, and then the main path continues to head down, and there are like the side passages that lead into these small empty rooms, and at the far end you can see that they're like you're not even that close. You can't see what's at the far end yet. You're not quite close enough yet, but you've got this like building that's here, this mausoleum.
I guess I begin Anastas is basically quadrupedal at this point, jumping around looking for any sign of the evangelists, trying to track them down.
I imagine a little bit of when General Grievous is running and he ends up on his front legs instead of his back legs.
Yes, a lot like that.
Yeah. Can I get a vigilant check?
Yes.
I need to check what his discreet is.
Nice.
-1. Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely. You can hear the cackling echoing from behind this building. And so you like up on the wall, like skitter around, and you can see the evangelist there. He has like a scepter out, where and he was like laughing, and when he sees you, like he startles back, and he turns to like start running away. You're on top of him. It took your whole move to get there and find him, but you are on top of him.
So I can make my unarmed attack.
No, you had to use your action to do the
okay.
search and things.
Sure. Yeah,
But
makes
you
sense.
have him for next turn. Alexander, your turn. I assume Anastas has noted that he found the.
I was
You
just
can
about
hear
to
me.
ask.
I found you.
And so I turn in that direction and fucking bolt, boy.
Okay. Do you want to go around to the left side or the right side?
Which side is Alex or Anastasia on?
You didn't see.
Wow. Right
I
side.
imagine I'm on like the
Excellent.
fucking
Okay,
ceiling,
so you rush around the corner, and you are now flanking him. You've cut off his exit. The Anastas is on one side, you are on the other side, and he is between the two of you. You can make an attack if you'd like.
Ooh, full attack.
Yep.
Woohoo! What a modifier?
+1.
+1. Wah! All right.
Yes.
Second.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Third. God, I love this,
Sweet.
and I can get even better at this. I can get better at this, you
Did we
guys.
We made a party of like combat monsters. And
It's a little bit of what Symbarum is.
And Dorian.
That's true.
And Dorian.
All right. Anasta, Alexander, what does this look like?
Well, I just kind of like, since I'm fucking bolting in, I just come in, I go to the right, flanking him. I slide. First one cuts at his ankle. Second one into the back, and third one into the side of the head.
Please, I was just following orders. And he collapses in a pile of bones in front of you. When that happens, the spider centipede abomination also falls to the ground, leaving you in the dark tunnel alone.
I got it.
Yes, you surely did. Well done.
Anastas picks up the bones and the skull.
You pick up the bones and the skull, which right now has one of Alexander's daggers like protruding from it. There's a huge
Right.
fracture.
Pull it out and like toss it back to Alexander.
Thank you. These are very dear to me.
The skull is chittering and chattering.
No,
I
still
was
like left.
only following orders. 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 Oh,
Who would an
You
evangelist
follow
take
those
orders
to your
from?
grave.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Talon?
Oh, nothing important.
Stone was asking Anastas that question.
What's that now?
Who would an evangelist take orders from?
Would be the pontiff himself. I care not for his orders at this time. Only that this will secure us a powerful ally, and he has met just retribution.
We may want to consider keeping him silent. We don't want him recognized or making any noise while we're moving throughout the city.
Well, there's little I can do to suppress the will of one, and he is. Well, I suppose I perhaps may take him back to Nadim. If you wish to explore the other shrines, but
Do we wish to see where this tunnel terminates, or do we wish to return to the surface and re-enter the city through the catacombs?
I fear wherever this tunnel terminates will be no safe haven for us.
I agree.
Stone,
He's-
as you're like they killed the evangelist sort of behind this like mausoleum that I was talking about before. And you stop as you see it, because you feel a presence from it. You feel a questioning, an observing.
I'll move closer to it and inspect it.
Set into the mausoleum is a stone door, flanked by two statues of warriors dressed in ancient armor. One is a Yora, the other is an Endara. Above the door looms an enormous feral Korovid, its arms outstretched, wielding hammers and clubs. The stone is worn and ancient, and the details are nearly impossible to make out. In the old Locan script, do you read? I'm sure
I
you
don't-
read. You don't.
I would assume. Well, I would assume I probably learned some of it, but I don't know how much written language my
Yeah,
tribe-
Dorian
you're
can.
an oral. Okay, so Dorian can read it. Can read the script. Okay, so you can see an old Locan script. There's an inscription on the door. There are no handles or locks or anything on the door. You feel, as you inspect that feeling, however, it feels hungry. It feels like it is drawing you in, observing and judging you. It's an unpleasant feeling. Not painful, but you don't want to stay here longer than you need to. Inset into the door where the two halves meet is a barely visible symbol of a spear wrapped in a crescent. Dorian, I am assuming you are reading the inscription?
Yeah, I'll read it out loud
Give me a
in the
vigilant
DM's
check.
voice.
Give me a vigilant check.
Ooh.
Vigilant.
Oh my god, the third vigilant check this session.
Any modifiers?
No.
Success.
Yay.
The inscription reads, Antariax the Swift meets Uel and Fist of the Grotto of Stars at Rothalar. They agree to Arvastalai. Uel sends Svintai. The Fist sends Mountain of 90 Winds. Who should Antariax send?
Does any of that make sense to Stone?
Make a cunning check.
Oh, sweet Christ. My cunning is 5. Just want everyone to know.
Okay. You will get information from this.
11.
We're just trying to figure out how much information you get.
Not a lot.
That spear and crescent symbol is that of Tiveriel, the strategist
Oh.
god.
Interesting. So they are asking, it would seem, about some clash. Some battle, maybe?
Actually, yes, now that you're thinking about it, there is a battle. You don't know a whole lot about it. You have heard the song in the past, but it's been so long since you've been in your with other Hadra.
Yeah.
You can't remember exactly. What you do remember is that those three individuals, the Korovid, the Yora, and the Indara that were mentioned, there is a game. There's a rock, paper, scissors style game with those three people, but you don't remember who beats who.
Interesting.
Can Dorian recall anything?
Dorian can make a cunning check if Dorian wishes to.
Dorian would always like to make a cunning check.
Heck yeah. So, the battle, of course, that is being talked about here, the Battle of Rothalar Hill, was a battle when the Lokai Empire was first heading out, and it was a three-way battle between the Yora, the Korovid, and the Indara. They fought over this hill that you're on right now, Karstop, where Karstop now stands. And the Indara won and laid claim to this holy place and built a city here. It's part of the origin story of Karstop. What else do you know?
What about that game that...
You know nothing about a game. That is outside of your realm of experience. There is more history here, though. Okay. You also know that Arvastalai is some sort of like duel. It's like an honor duel. This is the sort of thing that like two armies, like rather than fighting, they would send like their champions fight, and that determines the outcome. And you remember a story about this battle, and you think that the Endaran general fought in it, but the other generals like sent their champions. It's foggy. It's been a while since you read it, but there's something about like the Endaran general fought, and then the other sent champions.
Could you either post what's written on it, or at least tell us again?
Antariax the Swift meets Uel and Fist of the Grotto of Stars at Rothalar. They agree to Arvastalai. Uel sends Svinti. The Fist sends Mountain of 90 Winds. Who should Antariax send? Stone, hearing this the second time, those names are goofy. Like, specifically the champions' names. Svinti and Mountain of 90 Winds, it's kind of like saying, where did I put this? It's kind of like saying Dave 70% or 3 out of 5 Joe. Like, they've got like numbers in there that's like wrong. That's like, this is not how your Hadron names work.
Interesting.
It's a riddle. Who should the last guy send?
Can you give me the names of the champions again?
It's Svinti and Mountain of 90 Winds.
Mountain of 90 Winds.
$70 and $90?
Yes.
Yeah, 70 and 90.
So
80.
Well, no, 70 and 90 if he
would
wants
be
to
20.
win.
Or if it's a count.
So
I mean,
70,
there's several different ways that this could go.
Yeah, it's
specifically
like,
in the like, as you are hearing them, they seem to be like percentages specifically, like 70% and 90%.
So it would have to be 100.
If this person wanted to win, but it's weird that 80 isn't. What's the name of the last general? The one that
Antariax.
Antariax, yeah.
Antariax.
Antariax the Swift. which Stone, to you, like the Swift is not something that Indara do. This is some sort of like, that's some piece of information, but you're not sure what it's trying to say.
Swift.
So, hold on. We know that this is some kind of duel happening between 3 people, and from what Dorian was able to kind of glean from this is that the Andaran general often fought for himself rather than sending a champion. And if we know that Antiriax is an Andaran in this situation, he would be sending himself, right?
Sure.
But
He would stand for himself.
I mean, that's what I thought initially, but now I'm curious about the whole. Well, I'm curious about the numbers angle because Antiriax the Swift. What does that mean?
I feel like we're missing something here.
Oh, you're
Is there
missing
anything-
several somethings.
Okay, is there anything around here that seems correlated with this door at all?
So you take a step back. It looks like the door is getting into this mausoleum or whatever, but now that you're thinking about it, this is probably a shrine. This is probably Tiberial's shrine. Like I said, most of this tunnel is pretty bare. Everything is worn down. You see that you've got, now that you're looking at the statues, you're looking at these 3 figures. You've got a Hadra, you've got a Yora, and you've got an Indara. What? Give me a second. All of them look wounded. Like severely wounded.
The fuck?
And take a closer look at that Andaran statue?
Sure. Make a vigilant check.
Sure. Nope.
The Andaran statue does, like I said, it looks like it's been taking cuts. Like there's blood actually coming out. And remembering back, this battle was at the end of a long, long campaign. And discussing it with Stone, now that you're mentioning this battle, the story is coming back to you. And that name, Rothalar, it's like, it was at the end of this campaign, and everyone was tired and wounded, which is why they agreed to this duel. But it was said that everybody that participated in that battle was one blow away from death.
Interesting. So another potential answer could be no one.
Why?
Because if they managed to land a blow against each other, they would both die, right?
So you now have a scenario where you have 3 people fighting. One of them is 70%, one of them is 90%. And you know that one hit is going to kill anyone. Tiberial is the strategist god.
70, 90, 40.
Why 40?
Because it's enough to kill both.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, okay, I see. Okay, so I was thinking about it in terms of like, oh, yeah. It would be 40 would be enough to kill both.
I don't know how to turn that into a naming convention, but
I don't know how to. I'm also curious. Like the Swift part of the guy's name is really like throwing me
Like
off.
that should be a clue, and it probably is a clue, but I'm too
Yeah,
dumb
but
to figure it
I
out.
don't know what it would be. The Swift. What would that mean? Probably that they strike first, right?
That they
So
go
that-
first.
Okay.
They go first.
So they
So
go
if
first.
they're going to strike first, you have one attack. You're going to strike first. Who do you strike?
The weakest one.
Why?
No. No.
Oh,
No, you strike
Because
the
you use-
strongest one first.
yeah.
No. Okay. Okay, so here's another thought. You send 80, right? Let's just say 80. You send 80, but that 80 is going to get to go first. You know that one blow is going to kill the person at 90. You kill the person at 90, 70 doesn't beat 80.
It was 80 all along. 80 kills 70 as 10% left over to kill the 90.
I don't know though. 'Cause
Remember
you-
again, it's percentages.
Yeah, it's percentages. So is it? And so I think
Percentages of what?
that's the thing. We have no idea. So if we think of like if we think of the fact,
damage, he's mentioned the damage they've taken several times.
yeah, but we also know that one blow will kill anybody. The percentages is not health. I think we can at least be somewhat decently.
I thought that was
like,
damage taken. I was reading it as damage taken.
but one blow will kill anybody. So like, what does that mean? Does that mean that this is health, or does that mean that this is something else? That's what's throwing me. So, I don't know.
Well, is there a way to like manipulate these things, or do we have to like answer? Like, what's the mechanism here?
You've not tried to manipulate anything, so you're not sure.
Poke and prod at the statue, looking for any kind of mechanism to move on it.
Which statue are you poking and prodding?
The Andaran.
Yeah.
So you start moving things on the Andaran, and nothing really seems to move until you get to his head. And the face, there's like up under its chin, there's nothing under its like helmet, so you can get your hand up into there. And when you do, you feel a small lever.
I pulled a lever, Kronk.
You pull the lever. It is stiff in there, but it does pull. When it does so, you hear the grinding of something inside, and then the doors open.
What the fuck?
What?
And was it just the Swift all along?
I don't know if I want to.
You don't have to.
So
Don't feel like you need to,
Okay.
but like,
So you head inside. So the door opens, revealing the shrine to Tiberiel. Tiberiel is holding his spear. He looks like an old, wizened general. There's a small offering plate there, and you can feel his gaze upon you as if he is judging you. Who wants to do what?
Anastas will approach the proud general.
Okay.
What do I see before its shrine?
So there is nothing in the offering plate.
Any stories tell what was sacrificed?
I would like to take a look at the other statues.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you push and prod at the other statues and find nothing.
What's
So
behind Tiberial?
You see the back of a statue. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Tiberial's the strategist.
Yeah.
Tiberial's the strategist, yes.
What is
So-
his symbol again?
It's a spear that's got like a crescent that sort of like is wrapped up in it.
Is there any kind of like crescent insignia near the altar or around this door?
The basin
Other
of
than
the
his.
basin of the offering plate has the crescent on it.
We need to put a number of something into it, or
Yeah, are there any other objects in the room?
because
No
it's
other objects in the room.
it's asking for how much this general sent. There's no numbers or anything on the statues.
No numbers
I
on
feel
the
like
statues.
if we were gonna offer it something, that there would be like a thing to offer it. You know what I mean? It's like, here is an indeterminate number of X. How many of X do you put into the offering bowl?
And there's nothing like that around
That's
for
why
something
I
to
asked,
place into
yeah.
it. What the? I'm stumped.
No one has picked up the Aoken prayer book yet, have they?
I didn't even know that was a thing. I picked that up right now.
Didn't know it was a thing.
No. One of the shrines has that at it, but we must not have gotten there yet.
Okay, so we don't
Oh.
have it.
You don't have it.
But it's good to be on
if
the
no one
lookout for
remembers
one.
it, then you don't have it.
So we need to complete
there
another
anything-
shrine
is there
before we
anything
come
in
back
the
to this
song?
one.
Is there anything in the song?
Oh,
Like,
you
thinking
know the
about-
Epic of
I
Tiberial.
know the Epic of Tiberial.
Could sing the song.
They worked at Isho's shrine. I will sing the Epic of Tiberial.
Okay. As you sing the Epic of Tiberial, you feel that gaze fall upon you, and it's an understanding fills your head, that you have done well to choose the non-obvious path. The answer to the riddle is to pick your weakest, your most novice pyromancer. The reason you do this is because they are going to die in one hit. If you send your strongest pyromancer, they will see you as a threat, and they will go after your pyromancer. If you go first, what you actually want is you want your first shot to miss. Then the Yora, seeing the Korovid as a threat, will go after the Korovid first, either kill it or not. The Korovid, seeing the Yora as a threat, will go after the other, kill it or not. And that leaves you to attack whoever remains and hope that you hit. As long as your chance of hit is better than 50%, but under 70%, that is who you sent.
I would like to ask you a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
Did this come by chance?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Because as soon as you were talking about it, I was like, wow, this sounds really
This
familiar.
sounds really familiar, doesn't it? Yes, absolutely. Just
God
skin
damn
it
it.
in some like arcane Hadron shit
Yo,
and make it
that's so
incomprehensible.
Oh my
Yep.
god, I love that so much. It's a TED riddle.
It's a what?
So, like the TED Talks, they'll put out YouTube videos that are just riddles.
Okay.
And this is one of the ones that I remember seeing. That's so
All right.
great. Oh my god.
You now have Tiberial's Blessing. This allows you to subtly change fate. You can choose one role in the future whenever you would like it to. You can know the outcome of that role before you decide to do the action.
Cool.
So you can roll first, and if it's not what you want, you can say, actually, I don't do that. I do something else instead.
That's
cool.
dope. That works. That's really interesting. Okay. I'm into it.
All right. 2 shrines in 1 session. I think this is the best we've ever done. Are we trying for 3?
I mean, schedule-wise, we got like another hour.
Yeah.
I would go. I need a snack.
Okay. Let's
Take a 5?
let's take a 5. Where are you guys going to go after this?
Well, I don't know. There's the Emperor's Tomb Peach keeps talking about, but
Well, that's definitely important for Alexander.
There are other shrines down there, and that's where I would imagine that. I keep forgetting her name.
we get another shrine when we bring
You do.
the evangelist back to Nadim. We could try to get there.
Which we could get there through the catacombs.
Yep.
They come out into the city, and then we could make our way back there. I mean, I don't think we're allowed to just go through the front gates.
I could.
Well, think about what you guys want to do. We're going to take 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're back. All right. What would you guys like to do?
Well, we go back in through the catacombs, or we go back in through the front door, or no.
Well, we know that if we go back in through the front door, get to Nadim, we know that there's a passageway through there that leads directly back into the catacombs, don't we?
Yes.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
So why don't we do that?
So there are 2 entrances into that shrine. One of them is through, like, all the way up in the upper city, through the crucible of the Pravoslav. Not a door you probably want to be using. It's visible. The only other one is through the catacombs. That's probably where you want to come back in.
Oh.
Yeah, let's do the catacombs and then end up where we left in the Nadim.
Okay. All right. How do you want to get to the catacombs from here?
Do we want to go back in the same way
We
that
can head back
Alexander
from Kirk
and
and
I?
then head back the same way that Mikola. Yeah.
Yeah,
makes
through
sense.
the
So go back through
Nikolau's
Karstadt
storehouse?
Township, into the storehouse, back in that way, and then from there straight to the shrine?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Nadim Shrine. Unless there's shrines along the way from there to there.
Not like right on the way, but there are shrines down here that you haven't gotten yet. There's a shrine to Gansi down here, and then there's also the royal tombs, which you want to get to. Those are the 2 primary places that are still down here, I think.
Well, there's entrances to the catacombs all over the city.
Sure are.
My vote is we hit Nadim, and then if we have time, go for Gansi and save the Emperor's Tomb for next time.
Okay.
I'm into it.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
You make your way back through the catacombs towards the shrine to Kinat, where Ratcatcher Nadim waits your offering. Along the way...
I make sure to show the skull of the evangelist to Kirk on the way out.
We are going to succeed.
We cannot fail.
We
As
must
long
not. You don't encounter anything out of the ordinary in the catacombs. It is a fortunately quiet trip as you explore the depths. It takes you some time to get back to where Kenot's shrine is, as the door, you recall, is hidden. But you have it marked on your map and are able to open it. Inside, you are brought back to that black obsidian room where you are the only things that seem to take any light whatsoever. Everything else is black and abyssal. Nadim waits by the altar, and when you come, he turns towards you and says, "You have returned."
Yes, we have. And with our quarry.
Excellent. Bring him here.
And Anastas hands the skull and bones to Alexander.
Beautiful.
You will be pleased to find your assessment of Alexander was astute, Nadim. It was he who slayed the beast.
Well, came very, very well. Actually, it was, and almost its guard.
I knew that you
I
showed
must admit,
promise.
Alexander, I am a touch jealous that it was your steel. The Evangelists felt.
Apologies, but he was certainly not the first. And he will not be the last, I hope.
I did not believe that it would be one of the living who would bring justice upon this man. But so be it. We are, in fact, at a Hadran shrine after all. Please, make your offering. Take in the blessing of the executioner.
With a little hesitation, but a deep breath, Alexander will give the offering and take the blessing.
Okay, you drop the bones into the bloody bowl. They clatter at the bottom of it, and a smoke starts pouring off of them into the air, and it fills your nostrils, sucking into your body. You can hear the voice of the evangelist echoing as if far away, but inside your own head, screaming for mercy, that he does not deserve this. And that it was not he who gave the orders. He was only trying to help people. And those words linger in your mind. You get Kenot's blessing. Once in the future, whenever you would like it to be, you can maximize the damage on all of your hits for one turn.
Oh my. Should I just put that in the notes section?
Never mind. I think we
Yep.
found the better blessing for him.
One of them.
Well,
Yeah.
ideally he'd have both, but yeah.
Kenot's. How does it spell that?
Quinot.
INOT blessing, and then one use.
One use. Yep.
Max damage on all damage rolls for that one turn, essentially,
One
right?
turn. Yep.
Okay.
And now we come to my part of the bargain. You said that you were looking for assistance getting some
We were.
people out of the city.
We were.
Well, you have found your own solution. The Evangelist was using a secret tunnel to ferry the humans in and out to conduct their blasphemous work. That tunnel is guarded by a creature. If you clear the creature, you will have a way in and out of the city. It's not being watched by anyone any longer.
We had trepidation ending. We were in the very tunnel. That's where we collected this fiend. Though I'm glad we did not explore the end of it. Where does this entrance lie?
There is a shack in the lower city. It is unoccupied and inconspicuous.
And a creature, some undead amalgam, like the spider thing. The
It
Evangelist.
watches the tunnel.
Is that all you know?
That is all that I know.
Well, I'll take what we can get.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nadim.
Of course.
Your help is greatly appreciated. I still would like to learn more from you if possible. You are a legend, after all.
I have much to teach, and you show some promise. I am sure that we will be working together in the future. Where can I find you?
I try to make it my business not to be found.
As do I. You can find me here. You know the path in. And should you need my services, such as they are, come to find me.
Just one quick question, Nadim. You had said that this was in some sort of nondescript shack that hidden away inside of the lower city. How will we know which shack in particular that it is?
When we emerge from behind it.
But if we wanted to get the people to the shack, couldn't we just and have them with us when we take out the monster and just do one trip out of the city that way?
That does stand to reason.
Is there any sort of marker or waypoint we could use in order to find this specific shack?
Yes, there is a symbol outside of it. A spear and a crescent. It is built into the wall.
Fancy that.
I do not know what it means.
Dorian
you
explains
know-
in great detail what it means.
I
Like a
do not
10-minute
care
history.
what it means.
Well, you should have said that in the first place.
Nadim, you know as well as I, the city will soon become volatile.
I should
We
hope
could
so.
we could make use of the hand in the struggles to come.
More like the hand will make use of you.
I have a perspective you.
It would be prudent of us to share our plans.
We have made potential allies with Diocese Order. They too are against. But they too are against what the pontiff.
Curious, as we plan to create much disorder.
Well, we have not quite acquired them as yet, but they are no sympathy to the pontiff.
Indeed.
When the time comes, we're looking to unseat the man himself.
I plan to do just such a thing. I gave him that seat, and I wish to take it from him now.
Then
Who
we will
do
provide
the-
the opening.
Hmm?
We will provide the opening I trust strike when that time comes.
Of course. How will I know?
You have eyes in the city.
I do.
Careful watch.
You're a cunning ally, my friend. Very well. We shall strike when you strike.
Well, suppose it may be time to have that conversation with Order. And then challenge of Nikitas.
You have much work in front of you.
As do you.
Anastas,
Yes.
when the head falls, someone will need to replace it.
Indeed.
I am sure that we have ideas about who that will be.
Indeed.
Just know, I will not be making the same mistake that I did twice.
Nor shall you. I believe our answer, most amicably, and most in both of our interests, lies in the room before us.
An interesting proposal. I shall think on this.
Please do.
All right. You guys want to do anything else here before we move on?
Alexander bows before the rat Nadim before he leaves.
My friend, I am going to give you your first lesson, which is not to avert your gaze from a potential foe.
There's like a knife against the side of his head.
Yeah.
Alexander chuckles. Of course. How foolish of me. Thank you.
More lessons to come. All right.
He walks away. He's like fangirling a little bit. He threatened me.
All right. The achievement is unlocked. Form an interesting alliance.
Yeah.
An unexpected alliance.
Yes.
Awesome. You guys head back into the catacombs. We're making fantastic progress tonight. Where are we going next? Are we going to go try and find the Shrine to Gansi?
Let's do it.
Fuck
Awesome.
it. Why not? Let's do it.
Let's
I got one
go.
more in me.
All right. Well,
Or clear the creature and get those people out.
I tell you guys what. I'm going to show you what this is going to be, and then maybe we are going to make a different choice. Well,
We also have no idea where Lyra and the rest of the survivors are.
Right, that's true.
It may be to find them.
Have we heard or seen anything inside of the catacombs, especially, we entered that same way that Lyra would have joined us before. Do we see any signs of foot traffic around that area? Like, perhaps of her moving these refugees around down here?
where
I'm
are
trying
you
to-
looking?
Inside the catacombs, probably around the same area that we got in No, that wouldn't make any sense because they wouldn't have gotten out of the city. I have no idea where they could be. I know where she wants to go.
Huh.
Right.
Stone.
Mm-hmm.
As you are thinking about this, flashes of memory come back to you. Stone as chains on the high wall, ripping Najit apart, tearing through them in the Hadron graveyard.
Oh, did not.
I believe we may have a problem.
Go
Okay,
on.
now. Well, didn't tell us that yet, but
When I was not myself, I recall that perhaps some violence was done to some Najit in the graveyard.
that is not.
Extreme violence. I do not know how safe it will be for us there.
Not. Alexander, where Lyra.
Talon, we're losing your mic.
Alexander, have any as to where Lyra gone? Crew.
I could barely make it out in Ostas, but
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
that was better.
Have any idea where Lyra gone to the rest of our comrades?
Okay, mostly heard that one. We did. My worries would be that she would have taken the catacombs. We saw no sign of them. She is good though. If the Najit were taken out, they could have escaped really almost anywhere. I could try to track them down, perhaps. Very.
What if she had just simply returned to the same place that we came out? Back on the walls.
Possible if there was a path cleared, it would make sense. She would know it. It's
And
worth
clearly
it.
the Najit were distracted by a giant rampaging Hadra inside of
Yeah.
the graveyard.
Stone sort of just kind of sheepishly looks away.
That would have been higher priority, yes.
I am timid to suggest, but it may benefit us. I'll stop at Dias, our high city at the.
Talon, you're dropping every other word, man.
It's like
Hi.
your mic isn't picking up that you're talking, and so it's like,
Yeah.
And it's. Can you hear me talking?
Still kind of choppy.
Why didn't we want to go check out the Shrine to Gansi?
well, we were discussing it, at which
Can you hear
point,
me now?
Yes.
Okay, I just closed and opened it up. I am. Anastas continues. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am timid to suggest that we part ways at this moment, but it might benefit us for I to have a conversation with Morana to perhaps get a better gauge at what the city's response is. I could send you 3 to find Lyra.
It will be difficult for me to move around in the streets for a variety of reasons, especially now since it is well known that there is a Karovid Hadra somewhere in the city.
You wouldn't last a day.
I would not last a minute.
Alexander, do you have any clue as to where she may have gone?
I believe the answer was no.
Would, from former travels, would I think she would try to lead them down? Well, yeah. Do I think she would have tried to lead them down to the
Would she
U2?
even have the wherewithal? Would she just not? Is Lyra? Can your compatriot be trusted not to just leave altogether?
Not without what she needs. And unless she has what she needs, she is not going anywhere.
Even if her life was at stake.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, if we cannot trust Lyra, we certainly could trust Constantine.
And he's missing as well.
I'm sure he is with our fugitives. Or dead.
Do we know where he may have gone?
Yes.
Did you
The
set up
lower
some
city
sort
would
of...
be the only place remotely safe.
We'll need to track them down. We need to get them... Well, most of them out. I know Lyra won't leave until we've gone to the tomb.
Alright, then Anastas goes to speak with Morana, and we investigate the lower cities.
Find one of the homes and stay out of sight.
All right. So you split off. Anastas heading for the upper city. This is not what I was looking for.
Yeah, I'll leave out the front door of the through the kiln and out of the hall of the Pravoslavy.
Sure. And Anastas heads towards Diocese Order. That conversation we're going to have next time.
Okay.
We will start the session next time with that conversation.
Sounds good to me.
The rest of you head back up into the city itself. And where do you want to begin your search?
Well, I suppose it depends upon how we're getting back into the city. Are we going back the same way that we had gone before when it was Alexander, me, and Lyra?
You tell
Up
me.
to you.
That makes sense.
It's the only other way that we know into the city from the catacombs.
Makes sense if they're, that could be a way to like search for them in case they tried to make it that way too.
Yeah, just backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
We go up to the walls,
Okay.
to get back into the city, and it would take us down into the lower city from there, anyways.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody roll a vigilant check for me.
Alexander, you want that redemption?
I want that redemption. We're gonna get it. Any modifiers?
Nope.
Redemption!
You come out on the high wall, on the battlements, where those like large Najit ballista are like scanning the outside of Karstop. And you remember seeing the Tenari assassin make that assassination just a few yards away outside of this door. And you look to the great Miroslav Tower, that clock tower, where it had escaped to. At night, you can see that the inside of the clock tower is lit up from here. And so the face of the clock is actually glass, and so like it's illuminated from within. And standing in the clock tower, behind that glass, by the hands that are clicking around, you can see a human woman, Lyra, standing in the tower. Behind her looms the Tenari assassin. And that is where we are going to end today's session.
Oh.
Oh,
All right,
no.
everybody on stream, thanks for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Everyone have a good night.